Awesome, Lanie. Excited to have
Congratulations to you
you.
too on the website. It looks great.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you. I was on a roll. Oh my gosh. And thanking Kajabi, which is a really cool platform. Holy crap. That's like the easiest website I've ever done.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's mostly like a training platform, but they have so much under their belly. You can do so much there. Super cool.
Good to know.
Yes. All right, let's play, Lanie. Tell us what you want to celebrate and where you're at. And if you want to make a wish, we are happy to hear that.
Yes. So celebrating slowing down. I feel like I have been taking more space, which is, allowing me to see more. And just spending more time with the whole sweetheart piece. Almost feels like immediately after our last call, which feels like forever ago right now, but
right?
Yeah, I dug into, just like some collaging so that I have images to anchor that, and have just been revisiting it on a daily basis, kind of keeping to that whole AM, PM self-care routine.
Nice.
And surrendering like that, I don't remember at what point posted, I know, it was when my contractor told me that she was going to be moving on, that you prompted me whether or not I was defaulting to, fear or trusting the universe. And so
yeah,
I have been coming back to that again and again, picking up some tools that I had kind of already in the background that I hadn't been using. So I have written out some prayers that I have like placed around, to just kind of keep pulling me back, because the fear definitely is the default mode, and
has been.
And then so in the giving myself more space, I have been doing a fair amount of reading. That is it's books that I had that I guess I read part of and wasn't in the place, and so now I'm finishing them, and they're really speaking to like allowing that process, the evolution, the falling apart, the feminine. So yeah, I'm really I guess I'm celebrating doing nothing a little bit.
Which is totally old paradigm kind of describing it, because you've done a shitload of magic and been so brave. I totally want to reframe that, but yeah, I get it.
Thank you. Yeah, like a part of me is like, I think I might be celebrating falling apart in a little bit of a way, like, because it does feel like it's kind of like, unraveling in certain areas, but I'm also feeling a huge amount of compassion for my partner, and the mirroring piece, like where you said something, Kavita, I think it was on our Friday call about being the perfect woman. Mm-hmm. And so as I have seen how that's been showing up, like just me trying to be the perfect self-care, even in the self-care thing, like trying to get that perfect and then giving myself a hard time to post it notes, like all of that, that we talked about before. Like, well, of course I'm going to give my guy a hard time, because if I'm not being the perfect person and he's not being the perfect person. And so there's been I've been giving some space, because I saw like a little, I don't know what the word is, just like backslide where I was, starting to kind of, it's really hard for me to let him vent. That's basically what happens, is it's like, I just want to
vent or win?
Vent. Like whenever he's in like complaining or venting, I just like want to crawl out of my body and get out of the car and scream. And like, I just want to run away. And so instead of running, I just try to fix it, and it just doesn't work. So anyway, I caught a little glimpse of that, and the success in that was just catching it and not doing it when I could have done it again.
Nice.
So yeah, practice makes progress. So yeah, I think that's good. I feel like I've been setting some boundaries, speaking up a little more, and just slightly less critical, easing into my day.
I love it all. You said so many wins, like I'm grinning
I
and clapping all in between.
know.
Because what you have done was this is the me speaking to your ego mind, right? Because it needs to hear it. What you have done was the harder work. The inner work of reflecting and connecting the dots is the harder work. Nobody wants to see their messiness and their shit and it's hard. It takes a lot of courage even to look at it and face it and be like, oh my god, this is what it is, right? So you have been doing the harder work. The outward stuff where the clients show up and the money comes and whatever becomes the easy stuff because you have built your foundation on really solid ground, right?
I'm hoping.
No, I totally see that. Yeah.
I want to feel
So
that.
huge.
I feel
You're still in it. You're still in that
Yeah.
I want to
process,
feel
right?
the solidness. That's all I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that will come. Yeah, totally. I
and
love
I
that.
do feel it with some, like I have a couple of coaching clients that have, showed up with uncomfortable feelings that they don't want to deal with. And because I have that experience, it's not as scary. I'm not like trying to run away from it. So yeah, I feel it on that level for sure. And then just being with the unknown of what that's going to look like financially and business, like structure wise and stuff. The ego parts are the ones that are unclear.
Okay. Well, since you're mentioning that, I just want to bring that to the table before we get into your magic wand wish. What is it? What is your belief around the finances? Like, just share what comes to mind at this point.
Nice question, Kavita.
Well, if I'm being honest, like I can't really do the work that I want to do and make the money. Like even I have that call with, I have a call coming up after this with Patrick from All Stars because, I requested a break and then I just requested to leave the program altogether and requested a refund. And I know that they don't really do refunds, but I'm still asking for it because I don't feel like I'm getting what I thought I was going to get. I mean, it was very expensive since I didn't come from the big shift. And so that's a conversation that I'm going to be having. I thought it was going to be before our call, but the time thing. So what was my point is that there is a part of me that feels like, oh, you can't really make the kind of money you want to make without the support of that premium program, because I just got conditioned to think that I need something outside myself to show me the strategy, but their strategy wasn't really working for me. Like the ways that I've gotten business, I was already doing that stuff. I was already doing podcasts. I was already doing some talks here and there. Those are where my clients came from. Not really so much from what, So
you just you busted the belief that you put first, right? You said I can't really do the work I want to do and make the money without the support of premium programs, yet at the same time you're shifting out of that. So that's not even true anymore, right? So what part do you still tell yourself that you still feel right now is the money energy that you're telling yourself subconsciously, consciously? That's not.
I can't really make the kind of money I want and not be more visible.
Okay, so let's
even think in my brain.
Yes, let me swing it to the other end of the pendulum so you see what you said. Basically, you're saying if somebody's not visible and you're going to define what visible is, then they can't make money, right? And somehow everybody has been able to live on the planet, right? I mean, they either got by or they're doing really well or somewhere in between. I mean, if you really look at it, we all at some point got by. We all at some point did really well. And then we all at some point were somewhere in between. So in honesty, it's a cycle. So you can't be at one end of the cycle and then judge yourself and say, I'm not making the kind of money I need. You see, because if you're in the part of the cycle where it says, let's just drop all the external things and just turn within and find that hidden gem for the next level of your life,
Yes.
then the
Which
money
is where I am.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I sense too.
Exactly.
Like
Which
I
is-
don't want to go on anymore doing what I've been doing.
exactly.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I was willing to let everything crash and burn in order to rebuild in a more satisfying way. But it just, by all outward appearances, there's still the cultural influence of kind of feeling like a failure.
Hmm.
You know, so just trying to dismantle that a little bit.
The only reason I'm hearing here that you got that feeling of feeling like a failure as an energetic thread that's coming up for you now, it's because of the support. When you look at your support circle and where do you turn to, it could be, first of all, that you forget to ask for the support. So for instance, you have unlimited support with us. You don't always come here and say, hey, you know what, I'm feeling like a failure today. What's up with that?
I tend to, okay, so what happens is I put it in my journal. And it's getting ridiculous how many journals, but I put it there because I have shifted to using some video journal just to save some trees. But I feel
Yes.
I just, it's a broken record. I'm like, shit, I'm tired of hearing it. Why would I want to put that on somebody else? It kind of reminds me of my partner, right? Like I was saying how I don't want to listen to him vent. I sure as hell don't want to hear myself.
Okay, but we have the boundaries. We can take it, and it's not like, it's all good. So
Yeah.
So here's the awareness. There's awareness around that. So look at it that when you're putting it in that container, you're not putting it on our shoulders.
Yeah,
Right.
I have an
It's
insight.
just a container.
It's that magical container where you're actually acknowledging it without any strings attached. You're like, oh, I see myself behaving this way. Here's the thing that happened. I'm curious to know what this all means if you don't see it, which is quite unlikely because you're so great at connecting the dots, right? You're gonna be like,
but just need somewhere to share. Yeah.
yes, it needs to be released, and so you do that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what happens is that we don't even need to come in and say something because the universe starts to take that magic over and start giving you the kind of results that you're seeking, right? Of course, if when we show up in that space and we look at it, we'll check in to see what else is there or what needs to be said, and that's a bit of nugget that we'll give, right?
Yeah, I see what I've been doing. I historically have been proud. Like as a little person, I was praised for not having needs and like for not bugging my parents and stuff. And so I take pride,
Oh,
and
nice
like
cat.
handling it all myself.
See how great you did at connecting the
Nice
dots.
cat.
Yeah, there's sadness there for that. There is
Yeah,
sadness like that,
yeah.
and I think that visibility piece is connected.
It is, for sure.
Like I saved something this morning that I'm going to share, but I wanted to wait until after Thanksgiving to post. And
Let me catch you. Share it now, schedule it for after Thanksgiving so you get it out because the stuff is
nice.
coming to you now to release. So you can release it now in the thing, and if you want the world to see it after Thanksgiving, then just change the date for the post to show up after.
I'm glad this is coming up because I was going to talk with you about it from the group. That I actually don't use a social media scheduler. I used to have one. It got complicated. So now
not that at all. In Facebook itself, it gives you the ability to schedule. So if you have a group or you have a page, it gives you the ability to schedule. I don't think it gives you that for your personal
That's
Facebook.
Yeah, no, not for the personal, but you can always do a video and then upload it later, you know? So if you want to keep it.
So, okay, so all I was doing was, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet with the video, but I was gonna do, it was just a quote
Yeah.
that to me
Oh,
felt like really more revealing of myself. But it is a technical thing. So what I have been doing, my process has been posting on Instagram and then sharing Instagram to Facebook. And so I don't think that there's a scheduling feature on Instagram. I think I have to start using it's like called Buffer or Hootsuite.
yeah,
I know those.
exactly.
Yeah, but I think there's an app. I'm gonna just double check it for you. There was an app that I used in the past where I could schedule something on Instagram for free. And what happens, it doesn't post it automatically, but at that time when you schedule it, it pops up on your phone, and then you just confirm that you want it to be posted.
Oh, an
That's
app.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so I'll get it for you. That's easy. You see,
That's cool.
it's
I
about
want to see that
asking.
too.
Yeah, I need the help with the tech stuff because I have a
Sure.
story that I don't like. Well, because I've had a lot of glitches, and so then that's a negative association.
More playground to release the perfectionist.
Yes.
It's so great.
And you do know Astrid and I are a bit techie as well, so we'll help you figure
Well,
it out.
yeah, and we have both sides. I totally have
Yes.
the, oh gosh, I hate any tech things. And then I'm like, oh, this is fun. I can play with both kind of hats. It's so weird.
Yeah, so I like that. I can try using the app for that. But this is interesting because yeah, it's almost like I want permission to, I'm just noticing it, but it's like I wanted to share my Thanksgiving thing because it's Thanksgiving, and then wait and then let the other more personal thing. It's not even that personal. It's just about emotions. So anyway, about the dark stuff.
Oh,
So I'll share that. But so you're saying go ahead and get it ready to share, but
Yeah.
the order that I was
yeah,
saying.
so it's not in your system as a to-do, and
Exactly.
you
Oh, yeah.
release the energy and the emotions, and it's just out of your system.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think the way I have it kind of working is aligned with that.
Cool. So we already have a bunch of.
Astrid, can I say something before we
Yes,
start into
of
the
course.
other part of the call?
Of
Okay.
course.
So it was funny. I was telling Lanie how she was setting the foundation, right? That
Yeah.
all of the inner work was the foundation for her for the big magic that she wants to create in her life. And
Mhm.
so the call, that like everything we talked about was like looking at the pieces of the foundation and making sure that it's really solid and it fits in, that it fits the flow and releasing as well as the structure. And so it was such a beautiful example and demonstration for you, Lanie. Like when you re-listen to this, you'll see it. Um, and now we get to build on it. So it was a beautiful segue that we needed today.
Yes.
I love that visual. I got a visual off of Villa where you're putting the mosaic pieces on the floor, and kind of you see the floor coming together, and it's kind of you rub the floor and you see like
The what on the floor? I don't.
mosaic.
Oh, mosaic. Yes.
Mosaic,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Like you see mosaic, awesome, celebrating them, and they're kind of coming together as this amazing pattern.
That's cool. Yeah, I did want to share one other thing around the badass and the sweetheart, that I did this little exercise where I think we did it in All Stars once, but somebody else did it recently, where you just write your first animal that comes to mind with your dominant hand, and then the first animal that comes to mind. And mine was a tiger and a lamb. And I just felt the power of the whole sweetheart and badass piece, like just being reinforced. And so I'm not doing anything with it yet, but I even like looked up the symbolism of tiger and lambs, and it got interrupted because I was meeting with a client. But yeah, there's something in all of that as far as the integration goes, that I feel like it feels like revealing my sensitivity and not hiding that is like where the power
You know what's interesting? When you said it, was that the immediate visual that came to me was, in the biblical scriptures, I mean, we talk about the lion and the lamb instead of the tiger and the lamb. And so the tiger is actually, when we have it in conversations with other women, it's actually shown up as a tigress, which is that feminine energy power. So what's happened is that I saw that split energy again as soon as you mentioned that phrase, because we talked about a time in the past when the lion and the lamb could coexist, and nothing would harm each other. And so this was your beautiful energy of when your masculine and feminine exist and they help each other. But in this, if we were in a competitive environment and this kind of world where the lamb feels very vulnerable, and it's like the tiger or lion in your case turns against it and wants to eat it, so it doesn't even know how to show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's causing you so much pain,
It
and that why that symbolism thing isn't really working for you because of all of this. So it's
Wow.
like you recognizing when you're going to take any kind of action, like the intention, the audience, everybody has to be in a space where they can embrace the lamb, right? They can be badasses for sure, but they also have to have that heart power somewhere in there to embrace the lamb. You know, it's think about it like the other crazy visual that I'm getting is like think about it if you're in a room with a army of men, and they have their weapons, and then suddenly a little pup or kitten walks by, and they all stop to take care of that animal before they go on with their intended mission. So they have the discernment to see that it's not that because I'm so in my badass energy, I'm gonna blow up everything in sight. It's what is my intended focus to put that channeled energy through? What is it that I'm meant to, if I'm in a way, quote unquote, destroying something, I'm actually destroying it because it no longer serves, because I'm willing to bring what is the new thing that needs to emerge. That's the essence of your badass energy,
is.
right? And when you're bringing something new to emerge, the lamb energy is part of that. It needs to trust the other part of you that is destroying everything else, that it would not be destroyed in the process.
There's
Yeah,
so many
well, I
gems.
think that's definitely why I don't feel so great in the energy of the all stars, because
Mhm.
I feel like my sensitivity is there's a story there that it's too much, it's too sensitive, it's too whatever, and then when it comes to posting on social media and being visible, I feel that whole rejection piece, if it's not like, and I don't like it. I'm not saying that I want to stay in this place, but I'm just admitting that there's still part of me that can take it personal, that my message doesn't resonate, with more
Yep.
people. So
Yeah. I have an energetic piece to that, since you have all stars on the plate, and we'll speak later. So for me, it kind of showed up. This whole lamp piece kind of resonates with me. It's a different story for me, but for me, it showed up as not really feeling seen and energetically. It's kind of what Kavita said earlier. Wherever you show up, people have to be able to embrace your lamb and not just in the tiger energy. And I feel that is really not is not so present in their program. So they kind of starting to understand that, and in some level they do a little bit, but they don't embrace their own fucking lamb. That's the thing, right? And I'm actually swearing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, and so what I know is that I have to love. I can't. I'm trying not to get emotional. It's annoying, but I
Please
have.
get
Oh,
emotional.
please.
Please get emotional. That's what we're here for.
I have to love that part. Like I
Yeah.
have to love it.
Yeah.
I can't keep waiting for the world to love it.
Yeah.
I don't. I keep getting stuck there. I'm like a fucking rock star in my living room. But then the minute that I want to share, I'm just like, what's that?
It's the huge airplane flying over. It's like the power. Yeah, I'm a rock star in my living room. Brrr.
Yeah, like I can feel like, I get all of it and I understand the power in it and and I'm like inspired. And then, yes, the minute that I think about, and I'm doing it, it's just like it trickle, like I can't blow the doors off yet. It just feels too
Yeah, and
much.
I love that what Kavita was saying, that your badass, your inner badass, the tiger, telling you to and helping you to step out and asking what serves you, and step out of circles that don't and nourish and support that lamb energy, which honestly is the power. And so that will give you so much power to really embrace the circles that do allow you to blossom and all that. So much will fall away. You feel reborn. I felt a huge shift for myself. It's literally a new beginning. So
Yeah,
this is yeah,
because it's an energy leak for you, Lanie,
yeah,
right?
it is.
And what's happening is that you're not being able to claim your own power fully. It's like, okay, the visual I'm getting is like, think about when we talk about the boiling point of water. I mean, if it's not at the boiling point, it's not really truly boiling. And so you have to have a container of energy that allows the water to reach to the boiling point. And when you keep giving your power away to another container, you never get to that level where you're saying, I don't get to have the money that I want to make, or have the clients that I want to have, or the reality that I want to have, because your energy is split into another container, giving somebody else you're actually giving that person your power and saying, hey, tell me when it's good to make money, hey, tell me when it's not, that kind of thing. Whereas when, for instance, when you talk to us, you connect the dots so well, and you see your patterns, and you see where it's
Yeah,
falling
you're a
apart,
ninja.
right? And what we actually do for you is
Oh,
to celebrate where you are, help you ground, support you in the ways to move, to have that boiling point be reached wherever you are, right? So
Yeah.
that magic can overflow into every part of your life.
You are right. It just like hit me. Like I had this old mentor that I don't really work with anymore, but I recently heard from him in an email, and like, because he's a man, I think that I was slightly discounting what he was saying, and just like I just have this little bit of like, yeah, I hear you, but there's just always that energy of, yeah, I understand, you could be right, but there's like this slight distrust. And you're right, like I know when I feel great, and I know when I don't, and when I don't, I make it my fault.
Another awesome catch.
Like I think something's wrong with me. If I were okay, then I would be fine in that group. If I were okay, then I wouldn't feel like disoriented by other people whose energy doesn't match where I am.
I love what you said. Oh my gosh, lady, that's so freaking badass. So, right, so far you let your badass, it depends on where you play. So here you totally let it out, right?
Yeah.
And you just observe your mind, but you took it halfway. It's like, I know when I feel great. The way you were speaking, oh my gosh, you're totally owning it. I know when I feel great. I know when I don't. And then I make it my fault. That is so boom, mic drop. Shit. So you're like literally owning your lamb power, because that is the lamb power of feeling, right? That's the whole analogy of your heart.
Your two cards.
And the lamb is right there, it's coming out, and then it's like, huh, and then I make it my fault. So you went halfway, which is great. And so we help you to stay in that space and flex that muscle. And I had another piece that I also wanted to share, because that actually addresses that it is not your fault kind of point. So, and Kavita helped me to come to that awareness. So in spaces where you have tigers who who don't fully embrace the lamb, right? There's this thing that I feel that they are scared of their own inner lamb. They don't know how to find it, and they're scared of their own lamb. So that's why they don't allow others to own their lamb. They're scared of it, right? So they have all this subtle stuff that's happening. And I'm saying it's also not their fault. It's their patterns that are running that are keeping you from getting to your boiling point, which is why the program is not working, in my opinion, you know. And that's exactly the energy I felt too. It's like when I started to play full out in that last week, before I stepped out, I was freaking, you know, play and full freaking out. I was unstoppable. I was making my, yeah, what, Kavita?
1 second. I just want to let you know, I got a shift to just do something. So I'm going to join you guys on my phone.
Oh,
so you
sure.
can continue talking. I'll hear, and then I'll come back here when I'm done.
Okay,
But
okay,
in the
sounds
call.
good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that before I stepped out, there was 1 week I made like, I don't know, 3 or 4 posts or something, playing full out, full sparkle. One post was a little triggering, but there was nothing factually that I did wrong, you know. Yeah, I triggered people and I got it thrown back at me. You know, it's like, don't do this. You're too loud, whatever. So there's, you know, they really. Yeah. Yeah, factually, really. So, and I'm not blaming them. It's like what we had that conversation when I was at the retreat, you know, where you said you have to love them where they're at. And that was a download that you got. And that's literally, they don't know any better. So, but yet you choose where you really flourish, right? So it's just more reflections of the dynamics, that it is not your fault.
Yes. So one piece that connects with that is that I've been shooting myself to attend like a certain groups, plural, that I should, because I can get a little isolated when I'm home more. I don't have as many clients as I used to. Like I'm letting things fall apart. And so I don't want to be by myself all the time.
Right.
And so then I start feeling like I should go to certain things, especially since I want to support people in my community, but I don't feel good in those places.
So here you can just ask yourself a different question, right? So yes, support groups are awesome, but instead of following the energy of you think you should go somewhere, you can own your rebel and say like, I don't have to do a fucking thing. And I get to choose where I'm lit up to show up, right? So like just do a reframe. It's like, where was the badass lamb? And I'm using them on purpose because the lamb is badass. Where do I feel inspired to show up? And this is a really cool thing I got from Jen August, one of the former Bill Barron coaches. She gave me this concept of being an energy snob and really asking myself.
I love that.
Yeah, she's such a badass and space holder for her own, you know. So the when you're an energy snob, it's basically, it is owning your power, and it is really asking yourself, who gets another second with you, right? Who deserves your magic? And this is not meant in a judgmental sort of way, but it is really in choosing where can you make a difference, where you lit up, and all that stuff, right? So that really stuck with me. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and you can ask that for people, for places, for groups, for things you want to play with, for programs, whatever. What gets another second? What really lights me up? And you only pick the cherries. And that's why everything we do is so freaking cool. And building our dream business, we get to pick the cherries. And the more you follow the cherries on your path, the more you lit up, right? So you're in control of choosing that. So whenever you noticed the should already, so, which is awesome. You're already a ninja in spotting those things. So now you can just like ask the other question with like, okay, hello, bye-bye, should.
And let go of the story that, because I have this story that it's too hard to find, you know,
Right.
if I'm an energy snob and I'm so selective, then it makes it, and it's true. Like I have always been selective. It's like Goldilocks. I'm not too hot,
Nice.
not too warm. I know exactly what I want.
Nice.
That means I have to work a little harder to find it. No,
you don't have to work harder. So that's what you can let go. But the Goldilocks is awesome. So you can just click back into your Goldilocks energy snap space. And when you really
So what I will say is
go ahead.
perhaps it's a little less, it's kind of like having a pool of people. The smaller the pool, the less likely you are to find the very specific type, like if you're looking for your
That's another mind thing. No, that's another mind thing, because it's all energy, right? And the universe can bring you the bigger magic if you really trust in the bigger magic. But as long as you believe that only what you see in your pool, tangibly, visibly, and what you do is real, then of course you're only getting access to that. But if you trust in the magic, that there's invisible people already standing in line and then they come to you magically, even without you doing anything, you really feel that it's possible, then it can actually start happen. So it's just an energy, permission, belief thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I definitely believe that in Phoenix, even though I've been here for 7 years and haven't met my magic people, I'm going to release, because I think that ever since I moved here, I thought I really wanted to move. And so I might have been carrying a belief that I couldn't meet people here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Then I would, that just supported my belief that I wanted to move. You know what I mean? Like it was
I know what you mean.
For moving.
Yeah, you recreated your reality. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a story also from Jen, that what she told me, and she's 6, I don't know how much she makes, but she's like 6 or more plus figure. Solopreneur who actually does everything with just one VA and keeps everything light and playful and does everything.
I love that.
I know, she's such a great role model for me too. And so she rocks that, and she only does things that light her up and all that. So what she told me, when she started becoming that energy snob and really say no, even to, she had this story where a super successful, big name honcho guy wanted to work with her at an event, and she saw him being rude to one of her friends. He turned her back to friend and excluded that other person from the conversation. And so she chose, like, no, I don't want to work with that guy. And she owned her no, and she said no, and which is, and she said in her life, she noticed the more you say no, the more people want to stay in line and work with you and come to you. So it's actually,
oh my gosh, I have evidence for that.
Oh, I love you already.
This is really funny. Just what is today? Wednesday? Okay, so Monday, I told you my contractor wanted to leave. Well, she's been a bouncer, like back and forth, wanting to leave for a couple of years almost. Like not leave completely, but like, I want to do less hours. I want to take less clients. I want to, she just kept. And so I was just like, okay, great. Like I was ready this time, like I've been ready, but I was very clear with boundaries and like, okay, we're not going to try to talk through this. It's just, I hear what you're saying. I accept it, moving on. And then on Monday, she like kind of took some liberties and did some things without asking. Usually she checks in with me, kind of gets permission, makes sure that it's I don't know, respectable. And she kind of crossed a boundary, and I held her to it and basically said no. And then it was so interesting. Like I was just observing, and afterward have been observing like, wow, I'm really seeing this. This is really happening. Haven't like said anything to her about it, but she started asking if she could. She was like, well, I know I said that I want to leave, but I just want to make sure that I can still see some clients, that I don't have to leave completely 100%. It just would be less hours. And, she started asking if she could do some other things that would be helpful for the practice. And I said, yeah, I appreciate that. We'll talk about it more, just because obviously I'm in transition and I don't know that I want to be building that leg of the business. But yeah, like everything you're saying, like it was so interesting to watch. The more I said no energetically,
yeah,
that she was like asking, can I help you? Can I do more?
Yeah.
Can I stay?
And that's a magical piece for clients too, like not depending on them. You don't have that crave energy, you know. You know you're fine. You own your power, and you know the right people you trust. When you're in that trust energy, the same piece. It works for clients. It works for people. And I totally have my inner game coming up. Like, yeah, well, what are your stories for that? Like, letting that go. It's just the universe law of attraction rule. That's just how it works. So, and that's how your lamb gets to play, to really own the energy snob Goldilocks, and more magic will come. Yeah. Cool. So we never ask you your magic wand wish. Is anything coming up that that you wanna
Well, I had noted, and I felt like we were where we needed to be, so I didn't.
Yeah, I felt that too, but I'm curious.
But I had put increased clarity and purpose. And then I just made notes to myself that my message is pretty clear, but I don't feel much passion around it at the present. I enjoy nesting more than work, so find myself a little bored, uninspired, trying to stay curious. Example, I felt some inspiration to share, turned on the video, and decided to journal it instead. Scared to stand out, have it written in my journal, which I can use to create a post, but doesn't have a specific story point, just my approach. So I think that, you know, ties into the whole lamb thing of like not wanting to share my heart.
Yeah.
It's safer to share my heart in writing. And even that can feel a little like unsettling at times. Like I'll get all in my head. I'm like, I just posted, got tons of interaction, whatever, and then like the next day post something in this along the same lines, and then have like, you know, it'll feel more like crickets. And I'm just like trying not to take that stuff personal, and just staying curious.
Okay, so I have something for you, and Kavita, feel free to pop in anytime. But I feel for you the biggest playful inspiration right now. What I want to give you as a playground is to play with manifesting your love, support, flourish tribe for your lamb. So, because this goes back to the whole energy snob piece, right? It's also, I feel there may be a sad piece in there. It's like you're posting the things and so vulnerable and out into the space, you know, where you don't even know who sees it, whatever. So yes, we can let this go and trust, right? But there's also this piece of really finding and growing, cultivating a support tribe that loves you up, like space, more people who love you like we do, and hold space for you, and where you totally feel seen and lit up by playing with them. You know, I really feel inspired to let you let you play with that and make a magic wish, like what kind of people, you know, and then just trust that the universe, that it will guide you. You know, you can play with intuition. You can literally take a map of Phoenix and roll a dice, like where am I supposed to go, like where can I have coffee, or what do you want me to do, you know, keep tuning into the universe, what it's telling you, where is my love support tribe, and then letting it go, right? And trust that the people will show up, and just be open. What kind of connections show up? It may be friendships. It may be spaces where you see an amazing speaker that totally lights you up, and then who knows what comes of it, right? Just be open. But I feel that energy ask of growing and cultivating that lamb Goldilocks. The people really, you know what I mean. You find your own words. Yes. Make an ask.
What I want to add to that, Astrid, is that the fact that Lanie's tribe is exactly that. It is where the people who don't know how to handle their lamb, those are the people that you need to help, right? It's the people who
don't know how to handle what?
Their lamb.
The lamb.
Mm-hmm. And I am helping.
Oh my gosh.
Like I am helping people with that, you know, already. But I think that you're right, Astrid, that I'm giving, and I am needing that love support tribe where it's safe for me to be more vulnerable, so that I do feel more empowered to share it more broadly.
Yeah. So
Because I'm doing some pretty amazing work behind the scenes,
Mhm.
and I don't have the confidence or whatever to like share it more broadly.
So Astrid, remember we talked about our brand magic container. I feel when Lanie's ready for that, we can also address all aspects of the visibility.
For
So
sure.
this is really making it tangible. So Lanie, we can talk about that in another space. But I feel for right now, it's you connecting to the dots of what you're really creating and what you really want to put out there and who you really want to help and to stop the energy leaks as we talked about. Like look at where else you're leaking your energy and how we can change that. So that's what I'm getting.
Hang on, I have one piece that's coming with that. Taken a note, but feel free to speak, Lanie, if you have something.
Oh, just the tribe thing has been on my heart for a while, and it kept going back and forth between the tribe I serve versus the tribe that is a support, and where those can overlap. And so I have spent actually the last year trying to cultivate relationships. Like I wasn't finding what I wanted, so I just created it, and that's how I ended up with like kind of a women's circle artist way book club. And so I have it, but not everyone in that circle's kind of comfortable with their lamb. So I do feel like the energy in that, I'm still playing with whether or not it feels like a leak. But what's coming to mind is that there was curiosity around, even I hear you talk about your mastermind pretty regularly, like doing that early AM mastermind. And I don't know that that's the thing right now, but I just know that it's piqued my curiosity that like, versus me going out and having to like find.
Oh yeah, and that doesn't have to be an action piece. So that's the universe piece, right? You make the ask, and if you're inspired, you go and you play.
Yes.
But if you're not, you're fine. You trust whatever shows up for you, right? But make the ask. And I started typing up here just for you to make your ask. Ask yourself like, who is your love support tribe, right? So, and not tangibly like in human forms, but what I'm getting is like what Kavita said is they don't know how to handle their inner lamb, and they want to learn that, right? So they're in that space because, like, for example, the Bill Barron group, they don't want to learn that yet. They don't even see that thing they're not there, and they have other stories happening, right? So, who doesn't know how to handle it and wants to learn it? Another point is they totally love you energetically. They're drawn to you, and you both light each other up. And then there's other pieces too. When you look at your dream clients that you already have, the two, look at what are the points that really click and really light you up there, right? Like what's that archetype? So make that bullet list of your dream tribe archetype, and then keep that as your energy beacon and really feel that is already happening, and love them up energetically, and visualize, like without hard work, but like stay in that energy at least once a day. That's my Dr. Astrid sort of. And if you want to do an art piece around that, or do it in emoticons or whatever, some easy memory bridge to reconnect with that energy. Make it simple so you can easily connect, and you have your own tools for that, but they can be something super simple, like really feeling it once, and then you have your symbol, so you feel their energy or whatever, and you touch your body in some place that really resonates for that. Maybe you have a color with it. I know we've done that before, right? Was it purple or something? We had a color.
What was that? The color for what?
For your dream clients.
Turquoise.
Oh, turquoise.
Turquoise.
Yes.
So you already have the color. So the turquoise. So put that back in your life, and that turquoise, and really rock it, connect with it, and trust they will show up. Expanding that, and you're already doing that by stepping out of spaces that are not. So you're in a morphing space that's really magical because you made the ask, and the universe is already shifting, right? So
Yeah, I feel that. And I just want to say that I really appreciate your distinction, because about the love support tribe, the people who want to work on their inner lamb, but then you also added who are drawn to me.
Yeah, both.
That part's really important, because that's where the should was coming in, that I should attend that networking group that my office, I'm like actually a sponsor of the group, but I don't attend because it's facilitated by my supervisee. And so she has attracted all these people. And so they're attracted to her. And it doesn't feel like I feel in competition, and I don't like that. I want to be a collaborator and a supporter.
Okay.
But because it's like I have a lot to share, and in that space I don't feel the
all right. I have a play space for you. So here's a here's a coach on the island who's all about woman empowerment. She's super cool, and she did not have that nourishing tribe and wanted to do her growth things and whatnot, and she created a women's group, and she invited certain people, and you already know some people that totally feel that energy, and you love each other. So this is something you could create. Like, what can you create? Can it be some, like a coffee date or something? Or it's like, hey, I'm feeling inspired to play and do this, like grow our lamb. I don't know what you want to call it, whatever. To create a sacred space. You can create your own playground. So just play with that idea. What would you love to see happen in that? And it can start like a coffee date and just, playing with it and see what shows up. Don't have to know all the details.
It also answers a question about why your collaboration thing seems like if it's falling apart and they're just bringing up your fear.
Nice.
It answers that because you're supposed to find your own tribe, the ones who
nice.
That's why it's happening. That's all.
I feel that, and I have this this support group that I've led for some years that kind of serves that purpose.
Yeah, so you don't have to take anything as is. I would start a new energy playground and then see who shows up that aligns with that. And they may come from existing circles or not. I feel a lot, just start a fresh energy circle.
That's what I want, is a fresh energy circle.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
I'm glad.
Okay, guide me here. Guide me here a little bit more, because I know that I've gotten stuck before when I've let it roam around, like what a new playground might be. Oh no, I already know, because I've been wanting to do this. Remember, I told you that I wanted my own Facebook group, and Johanna was telling me that's not a great idea. And so I let it go. But then I told her that I was going to come back to it, that I wasn't letting it go completely, but now I'm in the program. But I wonder what it would be like to do it online.
Allow it to unfold, and it can be both, right? So you can make you just reminded me of an action step that I'm also doing 2 Facebook groups today. Your inspired action step can be that you wanted to do, create that group, and that's your first thing. And then it can be also in person, and it can be both. Some people can go to your Facebook group then who also meet personally. So there's no limits of possibility. What do you feel is your inspired action step to play with, to start with?
You mean for that new energy playground?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know why I want to have an online space tribe, but I do, because I've already played with local stuff, and ultimately I'd like to move one day. So online feels good. And I already have this that vitality talk on, every other Friday right now. And I made it as an event page. And so to me, it seems like it would just be a really easy next step to create a group that's all about, that whole vitality thing, and
Yeah. Okay.
how living from our heart, or our lamb, whatever we want to call it, is vitality.
Mhm.
Like following that intuition, and that is vitality. And so really just inviting people into that group as like a exploration of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that's a great start, and you can see how it morphs from there. But that's starting your tribe and cultivating it, and then in there you can share things that you have happening into that, and they can find you from there. So that can be your visibility space, and holding space for the emergence of this whole vitality thing, which is so needed. And your amazing radio show, by the way, that you have a gift, like it's really good. I was not just being nice, like you're really good at this, and it's like you're natural. So you can stream that into that group as well, or go live, whatever. So it's one of the things that you're already doing around that topic. So yep.
Okay, I'll play with it.
Cool. We have to hop on another call in 1 minute.
How
are you feeling, Lanie? Oh, right. Yeah, you have another call too. You feeling good?
Yes, I'm feeling good.
Cool.
Play with it.
My last addition for this is to make use of your group with us. Just use that container.
Yes.
All right.
The group with us, is that you said?
Yes. The chat group.
Oh, yes, the chat.
Use that for your ask. Use that for your release.
Okay. All right, I'll do it.
You're a rock star. We love you.
Thank you. You are too.
Thank you.
And let's talk soon about when you want to do the group, all three of us, or with Jean, all four.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. All divine timing. Yes, totally.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.